Here we go. Okay. So I heard from a few people that were not able to make it live with us. So there are some questions that I'm not going to go into, but the good thing is that we'll have a little bit more time to go into stuff that you'd like to talk about today. So how is everybody? Good? Thumbs up? Excellent. All right. So for the people who are new to this, I am Mariah Miller. I am a human design coach and trainer, and I work with women mostly, some men too, but mostly with women to help them reconnect with their passion, to be able to use that and express that in their work. And whether that is starting a new business or finding the right career or even a inspired retirement, all of that is possible. And I've seen lots of that happen during this pandemic. It's been an amazing time for people to really reassess your values and what is really important, reprioritize things, and find a whole new way of being in the world. It's been a beautiful thing to watch, and I'm so sure we're not at the end of it. So here's to us all stepping into our new way of being, which is going to be different than we've been, and it's going to be different from where we're going to. So keep your intentions clear and recognize where it is that you are now and what needs to happen, what growth needs to happen internally and externally in order for you to step into that intention fully. So my part in this is to look at human design as an amazing tool to help us get a little bit more clear on some areas that we can draw on in ourselves. And so a number of the questions today really focus on that, focus on, well, what can I draw on in myself? Which I love. So I'm so grateful to be spending this time with you. So as usual, we are first going to have a brief overview of what the chart actually looks like, what human design is, and then we'll take a look at the charts that have been submitted. And I also have some information to share at the end about up-leveling our energy for this very interesting fall that we're experiencing. And feel free to, because we're a small group today, feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of difficulty kind of getting us managed and organized. If it was a big group, then I would say just chat, but feel free to unmute yourself and so we can hear your voice. Okay, so here is the human design mandala. If you have requested your chart via my website, you will have received your chart in 2 versions. This is the basic mandala. This is how you are, how you came into form at the moment of your birth. You see all around us, you see these hexagrams, and you see these beautiful zodiac signs that you're probably familiar with. You may be familiar with these symbols that are the symbols of the planets. So here are the zodiac signs, the hexagrams of the I Ching, and the planets that then get activated and then connect here. Between those, you see these different colors in between. These are the centers that correspond to the chakras. And we have evolved from a 7-centered chakra being to a 9-centered chakra being, according to human design lore. And in this case, you see that there are 4 centers here that are white or undefined, we call it in human design, and the other centers are colored in. And this basically gives you an idea of what you get to work with in this lifetime. What is colored in is what you have consistent access to. It's running 24/7. This is how you know yourself. These white areas are the areas that actually, this is where the universe comes to play. So here's my chart. And the other chart that you've received looks like this. You'll have two columns on either side. One is in black. This is the moment of your birth. This is the calculation done that came up with these numbers. We call them gates. These are gateways or access where the universe um, uh, opened it up for you, a particular skill, a particular strength, a particular view in how you manage that part of the energy. The information in black is what we call conscious. This is the information that you know of yourself. And the information on the other side in red, this is a calculation done about 3 months before your birth. This information, we call it unconscious. It came in at the time that your neocortex in your brain turned on. And that information is, because it's unconscious, it is information that comes out not necessarily aware. You're not necessarily aware of when that happens or how it happens. Interesting thing, or hopefully as you grow in your life, you do get to a certain point that you start recognizing that, oh yes, this is a part of me. That said, that part of you may not necessarily be clear in the moment. Okay. So you'll see that they're colored in what we call these channels. Here you see there's a full channel when both sides are colored in. That then lets the energy flow from one side to the other side, and it basically turns on these centers. Okay. All right. I think all of you here have an idea about the human design chart. Any questions? All right. Here we go. So Barbara had submitted a question. I will use this for one of the human design minis that I do. It's a great question, and unfortunately, she is not able to be here live with us on the call. So I will record a little video about this for her. But I want to say something very briefly about anxiety, because anxiety and overwhelm are really present in our lives right now. There is a lot of that going around, and part of that is because of the pandemic, because we're asked to step in a very different way than we've done life before. First we had this whole period where we had to be really locked down. Things have been opening up, and still there is that underlying threat that really puts everybody just on edge. So just be aware that that is a part of life right now. I've in the past shared heart math techniques. I'm a heart math trainer. I used to work at heart math, and I can highly recommend this system to help you manage your stress, help you manage your overwhelm, and help you reduce that anxiety. This can be in the form of like a breathing meditation, which is why heart math is so helpful, because that really helps you kind of balance your autonomic nervous system, really calm that down. There are other meditations that you can do. There is a lot, and we'll get to that later on today's call, but there is a lot of energy right now flowing in this area, from this gate all the way down to this gate. This is the power of now expressing itself in the now. So there is a lot of energy forcing us, pressuring us to make things happen right now. If you find yourself just running yourself ragged, and at the end of the day, just like, oh my gosh, what did I actually get completed? Like, I know I've been busy, I feel really busy, but what did I actually get done? Anybody recognize that? It's something that's been going on. That's that pressure that lets you know you are not following your authority. One of the beautiful things of human design is that each of us have our own way of tapping into that part of us that knows what's right for us. For some, it's a little bit more obvious. For others, it's a little bit more diffuse. But we all have our own way to tap into that part. So as you are feeling this pressure of being moved, because we're being moved by these forces around us, I am going to suggest to you to recognize, like, oh my gosh, I'm busy. If you're feeling that, sit down, lean back, take a deep breath, because again, that helps balance that autonomic nervous system so that you can ground yourself. And then from this place, check in with your authority and just ask yourself, is this the right thing to be involved with right now? Is there another priority that would be better? These are generator questions, by the way, that I'm asking right now. Generator questions are yes and no questions. Those tend to be the easier way. And again, we will get into different strategies in just a little bit, but I'm going to suggest to you to really check in with yourself and with your strategy that's right for you, so that you know what to get involved with, what to get engaged with, because otherwise you're going to be running for a while, because this energy is going to be with us. I actually made a mistake in an email that I sent out recently, that this is going to be with us until I think I said March or May. I have good news and bad news. The good news is that it's actually going to subside a little bit in January. So that's the good news. The bad news is that a few months later, it's going to come back, because we're going to go in retrograde with these particular same configuration. So we're getting another lesson to really check in with ourselves. Is this what is right for me right now? Is this what I need to be involved with? How can I use my energy better? Because you may not be aware of it, but your energy is your most precious resource that you have. Okay. All right. So I'm getting off my soapbox. And here we have Starlight. Starlight, you're here on the call. Yay. I was hoping you'd be able to make it. Hi, how are you? Good. Excellent.
Good. Yeah. Crazy, but good. Life is crazy.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Good. So glad you're here. Okay, so you are getting closer with your business, which is so exciting. That's really beautiful. And that's your coaching business. And you were asking about a name and about deciding on a name, like really feeling that pressure to decide on a name. And what I find is interesting is that you have your answer within your question. Because your question is there an ideal time for me to get moving on a name for my business, or should I just trust the process and not push myself to start? I have a feeling I just need to be patient. There's also a part of me that feels like I'm just making an excuse, right? There's that tension that we just talked about, that pressure, like, come on, you should be going on this already. And you have a very strong intuition. You know that your right time will come. So let's take a look. I I looked at the upcoming months for you, and I want to let everybody know that that's not necessarily my strength. Okay, I can do a little bit of forecasting, but it's not really my strength. But let me just give you an idea of what I found. So first of all, you are a generator. Now generators have this motor, this center right here, this red center. And this red center is a sacral center that has that energy to keep going. And you have a lot of energy. So you want to get going on this. But it won't go until the light turns green. It's like you're in front of a stoplight, the light is red, and you can force yourself because you should. There's a lot of should going on, right? If you have this undefined, there is a lot of should from other people. Oops, sorry about that. So recognize that that is not you. Your truth comes from this center. Now, your intuition can have some things to say, but your truth comes through those yes or no questions. So if it makes you feel better, you can make a whole list of business names and just check in with yourself. Like, does this one feel good? Does this one feel good? Does this one feel right? And just go over and over and over. And as long as you have a sense of like that anxiety in your stomach, it's not right for you. I have to tell you about an experience that I had recently. So my husband and I, in our living room, we've had this framed photo, this IKEA photo of Amsterdam, which, you know, I'm from Holland, so it's been with us for over 10 years, and it has discolored immensely. So finally I said, okay, this is really green. It used to be black and white, it's really green. So let's get rid of this and let's find something that we both like instead. And we decided to wait until we would visit the local art walk, the open studios, and see if we could find something with one of our local artists. And there was this one artist who creates these beautiful pastel paintings, just amazing. And there were two that we were both really drawn to. You know, we live near the ocean, and there was one of an ocean view with some rocks and beautiful waves, and just there was a real force behind it, really gorgeous. And then there was this other one which had a lot of green. It was a pond with beautiful trees around. Both were local vistas, so both had a resonance for us. And we had to make a choice. As I was walking from one to the next, back and forth, I tapped into that sacral center, and I felt with the one, the ocean view, I had this tremendous anxiety coming up, this feeling in my gut that was just like waves, but not the right waves. And then I would walk to the other one of the pond, and it was just expansive. That's the one we went with. So I'm going to suggest to you to make that list for yourself. Feel into it. What has the right energy for it? What has the energy that has an excitement that draws you forward, that expands your being, versus what is like a gut-wrenching, ugh, heavy feeling. Okay. All right, so that's one thing. And then the other thing that I wanted to share is I took a look at the times that are coming up. And as I mentioned, we are in busy times. So this is October, this is where we are. And you can see you have a lot of activations. This is the one that everybody has right now. You have it tapped into being you, right? So here you are being asked to express yourself right now, like really, truly in the now. It's a very powerful configuration, and it has everything to do with you and nothing with anybody else. So there should not be a should going on for you. Okay. Now, what I like about the other one is that now you have this connection. There's a lot happening over here in your mind, right? There's a lot of inspiration coming in, a lot of creativity. This is a great, great creative time for you. And what happens here is that you see, oh, where did my mouse go? There we go. You see this connection to the throat. And now you get a chance to express all those beautiful inner truths, those creative moments externally. You get to express yourself. You get to express a lot of yourself, even your emotions, right? Because everything connects all the way up except for this one. So still with this one having an open heart center, the heart center has to do with determination, with promises, with this drive. So you may feel a competitive drive with others, but you have nothing to prove. And the other is that you may not necessarily recognize that with this new business that you feel that you have anything of value to offer, or that you may not know what you how much you should charge for your services. Yeah. Ask your friends, your family, ask people that you trust what you should charge, because that is ultimately going to be more on track than what you may think of how much your services are worth. How does this all land for you?
Yeah, it's helpful. Thank you. I do feel relatively clear with the pricing, but maybe I think what specifically I'm offering can maybe use some tweaking. It's also interesting that I had a dream a while back that I was like November will be the time that I start my business. I don't know
Okay.
how accurate that is, but it is helpful to see this kind of progression. And it's helpful to have the reminder that, you know, I will have my time, because I do feel like I'm at a red light and I'm not sure how much preparing I should do. Because the other thing is, it's like there are things that I guess I could do in preparation, but even that feels stalled right now. And I'm not sure if I'm like, well, should I be trying to like do planning so that when the time is go, I'll have all these things in order. But I'm just feeling kind of like I'm needing to focus on personal things, and
Right.
I don't know if that's just a distraction. Yeah, but I don't think it is. I think, yeah, anyway.
Right. Exactly. If the energy doesn't feel like it's there, then if it makes you feel better, you can cross something off your list to do some planning just so you have that off your mind, then go for it. But if your energy doesn't, if it's not pulling you, then it's not right.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's great advice. Thank you so much. That's
All
helpful.
right. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So Micah, hi, good to see you. You had a question. You had a question about the 57th gate. So in your design, the 57th gate, it's active over here, and we can see that it's in an undefined center. So the 57th gate in the undefined spleen center, if my what if fear of the future takes hold, which it often does for me these days, yeah, I need to trust my authority, but with no authority or outer authority, which is your way of making decisions, what part does 57 play in your receiving your sudden intuitive knowings, and how do you use this gate for your benefit? Great question. Okay. So here we have the chart of what we call a projector. We have 5 different types. We've already talked about the generator. The projector type, as you can see in this case, has a lot of centers undefined. It's not always the case. Some projectors have more centers defined, but what is key is that you don't have this sacral center defined, and there is not a direct connection to the throat from one of the motors, which, if you know a little bit about human design, that's helpful. If you don't know much about human design, just let that go. This particular configuration shows that what we call your authority, your way of making decision, comes from your mind, but not necessarily the thinking that you do and just sitting there by yourself and just thinking. It actually comes as you express yourself to others. You will start receiving feedback from your environment, and you will hear how you speak. And it's not about the advice that other people might be giving you, but it's about you speaking yourself, your wisdom, and then hearing your tone of voice, which is very, very important to you, as well as the kind of words you use. Am I speaking about it positively, or am I feeling down about it? Because there might be some moodiness connected to it as well, right? That is where your truth lies. That is where your knowing comes from. When you're talking about your knowing, this is where it comes from. Now, this 57th gate of the gentle, the intuitive gate that you have there, is definitely a great help as well. However, because it's undefined, it's not active all the time. So here's what happens. When there is a transit that either connects it, like right now, right? This is a time that this 20th gate is active, so it connects it up for you right here. It also connects it to your sacral center. So this is a time where this 57th gate for you, Micah, is very active. Okay, so this is a time when you have those intuitive knowings. They really can be very beneficial for you. Other times, when it's not active by a transit, but if you're around other people, the knowings that you get, those intuitive hits that you suddenly have, this kind of, oh, this is what's going on underneath, like that inside. That's for other people. Yeah, if there's not another transit, but if a person activates it for you, it's for them. It's for the person who is right in front of you. Okay. All right. Does that make sense, Micah?
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. So this is like this is called a hanging gate, isn't it? So it's like it's not really active on its own so much. I was wondering whether because I just need something else, you know, to help me make instant decisions, because I'm still looking for somewhere to move, and there's nothing that, you know, touches my heart at all.
Yeah. Well,
Despair because the winter is coming and it's so cold here. I already have a cold.
yeah, I hear you.
There's nothing here, nothing. I just couldn't
Yeah.
move. Flat, top floor flat with nothing green, and you know.
Yes,
Reading.
it's very important that you have the right environment for sure. And the same that I was talking about for Starlight also applies to you, that right now you do have this configuration going, so you can tap into this intuitiveness that you have to really bring yourself in different environments, you know, so you can sample for yourself which environment feels right. Where do I feel invited? Yeah.
Maybe that's why I created this code, which I haven't had for like years, to just, you know, to rest more and stop studying, because my healer actually said that she got a headache because my head is so full. But for me, it's like escaping into, you know, almost escaping into human design and Gene Keys and you name it, from this reality.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And I can understand that can be helpful, and be aware that this one can really spin out too, right? So allow yourself time to meditate and time to just kind of let those thoughts. It's hard to stop that channel because it will just keep going, but there is a way where you can find kind of the just letting it flow and not having to pay attention to it, if that makes sense.
Through heart math meditations, I think.
For instance, yeah, that's a good one. Or mantras or something like that. Mindfulness meditation is good because you can allow yourself to think the thoughts and just watch them. You know, if you want to go for transcendental meditation where you're really wanting to have that silence in the mind, that's going to be a toughie.
No, not for me. Actually, Richard Beaumont, who runs UK Human Design, he told me, don't you even try to meditate.
Yeah, if you're trying to meditate and do the, try to get the emptiness in the mind, it's never going to work for you. Yeah.
No.
But you can do other kind of meditations. You can do.
I envy generators with their questions. Yes and no.
Yes, but you have a real beauty too, that you're here to guide us, right? Yeah.
When I get the guidance, I totally agree. It's so beautiful, couldn't be more beautiful, because it's such a deep knowing. Yeah. And there's nothing that can, change it.
Exactly. So go travel. go travel and bring yourself in a different environment that's better for your senses, better for your being.
I might be moving back to England. I'm waiting to hear from my previous landlord.
Okay. Well, that may be the right thing.
If anything, yeah, if they have anything. Because here, places, 1-bedroom places here in Scotland are horrific. It's all stone and, gloomy, no green.
Yeah. I'd love to visit sometime, but in the summer.
It's beautiful. Nature is stunning. Nature is just the way they build. You can get a bigger house, like 3-4 bedrooms. You can find a nicer one, but not small ones.
Right. Yeah. Well, I hope you find something soon that really soothes your whole being. Find that place that opens your heart. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Thank you. And I'll be looking at the transits now.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Erica, hi, good to see you. All right. So you were asking, you were also asking a question about a particular time, and I mentioned that it's just not my forte. So,
That's okay.
but the direction, what direction should you take? And with your grandchild on the way, I am so looking forward to an upcoming human design chart review where I can put your charts together, because that's part of my joy is to put charts together and just really see like how do people really connect. So looking forward to that. um so when you're talking about the direction, this is really cool, right? Because we can see direction has everything to do with this G center, or the center of the self. And when you have it so open as you have, for you, you can do all kinds of different kinds of work, different kinds of uh, projects. You can live in many different places. Your being here is to experience a lot of different sides of you. You're reflecting other people, okay? And so when you're reflecting other people, what's most important is that you bring yourself into places and environments that are really, as we just talked about with Micah, soothes your soul, that you really feel, oh, this is beautiful. Whether that is, a retreat, or in the middle of a city where you can really feel the hustle and bustle of everybody, that might be good for a little while, but then you definitely need to take time for yourself. So, but you probably know this. So in terms of direction, you can do so much, right? You are someone who is very skilled, and I'm looking at this
Yes.
16th gate over here. You're someone who is very quickly able to pick up different skills. You're also someone who has, with this 56th gate, this real interest in a lot of different things. You can get bored quickly. So you will want to keep developing yourself. You want to study different things. You may want to travel to different areas. So with your grandson, your grandchild, I think it's going to be very fun for you to be and develop with him. You'll have a blast, as long as you make sure that you also take time for you. Because I don't know what his design is going to look like, but there will be connections, and there may be certain centers that he'll have completely filled in, and you may not. You always want to make sure that you keep emptying those centers. Okay, so anything in terms of, what I find fascinating is this 55th gate, which is over here. This is the gate of abundance, which is in an undefined center. The gate of abundance can both be financially, but it can also have to do with spirit. It's in Mars. This is how you express yourself. So how do you want to express the fullness of spirit in your life? Does that, any of this make sense for you?
Yes, yes. Especially the undefined heart, because heart center, because I can do a lot of things. I just knitted a beautiful outfit for the baby. I can do all kinds of things besides teaching at the college level.
Yes,
Um,
definitely. Here,
all kinds
that's
of
your,
skills.
teaching. You're a natural teacher. This is
Yeah.
the 45th gate. It's your son. You're a natural teacher. And I might suggest more spiritually focused work for your next endeavor,
Yeah.
to delve into that and build the skills around that. Because again, you're a skillful person. You will just kind of mirror what you're receiving from other people, and the
Mhm.
skill becomes yours like that. So
That's handy.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
The thing I'm worried
Any,
about is that it'll be too much, 40 hours a week.
ooh,
I don't know
yeah,
how much it's going to be, but they're both working.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. That might be.
So that's
You're,
why I'm glad you said you need to empty those centers every time.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're a busy person as it is, right? You have this particular connection that the rest of us is, suffering under. You have that as a natural part of you, which is this natural part of you that is just wanting to be busy and wanting to keep moving. Same thing with that is what am I being busy with?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so taking care of a little one, well, yeah, you're going to be busy,
Mm-hmm.
but that's kind of a natural part for you anyway. So the beauty again is you will be, or they will be able to see themselves reflected in you, and how lovely for a grandparent to be able to reflect the little one to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure that you, again, just take your space whenever you can.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Natasha. All right. So Natasha says, when I feel triggered in the midst of discord or a highly vulnerable place, I often feel alone and like no one could ever understand what I'm going through. I don't know what to do with that energy, and I can easily find myself turning to old habits for comfort or escape. What guidance does my chart provide in terms of knowing how to better manage or communicate my innermost feelings in a constructive rather than destructive manner? What an amazing question. This is so resonant with what we're talking about on this call and in this time too. So this is your configuration that really has this sense of I'm alone. Yeah, this is what we call individual circuitry. So there is this part that taps into you, into this part of yourself, the 10-4, that has this heart feeling, this warm-hearted feeling that wants to belong, but can't because you're individual. Yeah, you're always going to feel that you're ahead of most of the people that you're dealing with. You're here to be ahead. You're here to bring change. Now, there's another part here that is this more tribal circuitry, and then here there is collective circuitry. So you will have areas where you can touch into with others and be collaborative and be part of the community. But this main part of you, there's my mouse, this main part of you is going to feel, when triggered, alone. When you're not triggered, then this part provides you the strength to really express yourself in the world. This is integrative, what we call integrative circuitry. And integrative circuitry it's all about you through being you, being a role model. Yeah. So you don't want to be too much part of a group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. It's like I'm put off by the thought of being totally immersed into a group, and those kinds of things put me off, and yet it's so uncomfortable to feel so lonely. And I can tap into so many different ways of being and with different groups and things, but then I feel like I'm not fully able to be my whole self in any one of them.
Yes. Well, and especially with your profile, right? You have a 5-1 profile. And the 5 has a little bit of a projector field, that projecting that people will see things in you. It's the kind of like a mask, and they will see things in you that are not you, and it's really hard to feel known that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I never feel like I'm understood by anyone. Really.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah. Yeah. And recognize that is the beauty that you're bringing into this world as well. because through that, if you're able to step into that and take a stand for, okay, I am feeling lonely, and I am here to express that and express myself in my specific way, so that that brings change and an example of what and how a person can be in this changing environment that we're in, then you can step into the beauty of that. And just be aware that there's always that part of the moodiness that comes to play. Let that be your muse. Yeah. Yeah. That's your muse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so exhausted by the moodiness. I'm just like, when can I have a break of
Yes.
I never know what to expect any day to the next. It's like I have no clue what mood I'm going to be in.
Yep, exactly. And that's part of your emotional here. This is the emotional center, the solar plexus. This is always going up and down, always going up and down. And allow yourself, you're a very creative person, incredibly creative. So allow yourself to be the creative with the vision that you get to bring in, and then bring that transformation into being. So what do you do to be creative?
I feel like I never do anything, but I guess I also do a whole bunch of things.
Okay.
Right now, I am actually working on drawing a chart here.
Beautiful.
For someone, a friend of a friend who has wanted to look at her human design. And I'm putting all these different colors and like different fonts of my own handwriting, and I make it really kind of personal for them.
Wow, that's beautiful. There is someone, I'll email it afterwards. There's someone who creates these really beautiful charts that she prints on. She does astrological charts, so not human design, but she prints them on like gold on black paper and such. So they make these beautiful framed statements. So those are the kind of things that like other people will find very attractive, even though you may say like, well, I'm just doing all kinds of things, or I'm actually doing nothing. I mean, what you're creating, what you're just showing looks beautiful. And you make it really special. See, you're doing this in your individual way, being that creative self. So there's this part, this 14th gate, that is very transformational. The gate itself is very transformational, plus you have it in Pluto. And I am curious what transformation looks like through your process.
My process over the last many months of what we've been going through collectively, or my own, like when I'm making when I'm making something like this.
Yes, when you're making something like that. That's because that is taking on resources that you have. And there is a tension here that wants to connect up, right? So this channel that it wants to create is about this channel. It's the alchemy. It's the one that transforms something from base metal into gold. It's the starting at some place, you have the information for a chart, and then creating it in something that's really transformational and is something that resonates with someone on a very deeply personal level.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful process.
Yeah, and it kind of, it only happens once I get started on something, and it takes me forever to get started on things. And then once I'm really in it and I enter that flow state, then I'm fully, there's nothing else I'm doing other than that. And I have no clue how it's going to turn out, but then it always turns out in a way I never expected it to. And usually I get really good feedback from other people about it.
Oh, well, that sounds like a process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like a beautiful process that you are becoming aware of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I have a framework and an idea in mind, but then by starting on it, I'm stepping into the unknown because it's like I have no clue how it's going to work out or turn out. And I have to just completely trust that I will find that flow state.
Yeah.
And when I don't, I know because then I become frustrated or impatient.
Yep.
Uh,
Part of your process as a generator, frustration for sure. Yes. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. And be aware of the frustration of the generator. That part is frustration up to mastery, right? There can be frustration like, gosh, why isn't this working? I need to do it this way, I need to do it that way, which is on its way to mastery. And then there
Yeah.
is frustration of the wading through molasses frustration that is just not moving forward. That's the wrong kind of frustration.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's one
All
that
right.
kind of is the path to perfection, and then there's one that's the path to getting sucked under the mud.
Yes. 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 Yeah. Good to be aware of those for you, for
Mhm.
sure. So is this helpful in terms of managing that feeling in a more productive
Yeah,
way?
it is very helpful, and just to hear your thoughts and from your perspective with all your experience in human design. I really appreciate just having that feedback and guidance.
Sure. And for yourself, what is something that you'll want to take with you for managing this sense of loneliness? Like, how would you manage that next time when it comes up?
To really come with more of compassion maybe towards myself, and that maybe I'm not meant to be understood always, and why am I always trying to be when it's not really ever gonna happen. And I don't like, putting others in that place where they feel like I'm, really pushing them to understand something about me. So maybe it comes back to more of, it's okay. Just sit with that feeling in myself and have compassion for it.
Ooh, I love that. And as you're talking, I just want to have a show of hands. Who here often feels not understood? Just show your hands. It's part of being a person. Say that again, Erica. Oh, we're not hearing you.
I, until recently, always had the feeling that I don't belong anywhere, but that's just because I also moved from Europe. My parents basically placed me here and didn't want me to come back, so couldn't go back. Had to learn to be a new person here.
So
Yeah.
now you feel like you do belong?
Well, after 40 years, I'm 65 now.
You have some time.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
very direct, and I'm much more direct than Maria is. But I've had my troubles with it.
Yes. Yes. Being direct is definitely a very Dutch thing.
such a trait. So if you
Yeah.
know, if you're honest and direct, it can hurt people without you even wanting to.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Yeah,
some
yeah, that's
distance.
definitely something. Yeah. So, Natasha, just to reiterate that we are each of us here on our own path, and each of us has times where we feel not fully understood, not fully seen. And that's what I love about human design. That's what my work is all about, is to help people feel seen and to help people feel recognized. So just, I loved what you said, being compassionate with yourself, and then find the way that you can connect in a different way. Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mariah.
Okay, so now we actually got to the end of the charts that I created, but I do have, let's see, Sharon, you're on the call, and I'm just going to call you out because I do have your chart available. If you have a question, now is the time. You're welcome to share it. So Sharon, if you want, feel free to unmute and ask your question or put it in the chat, either way. And I am going to, so there were some other people. Oh, that's where you were. So if there is no question, Sharon, then I will go on. And we'll talk a little bit about up-leveling your energy. Okay. So as I mentioned, there's a lot going on. You've probably heard that we have had a lot of planets in retrograde that are slowly turning direct again, which is great. So here we go. Currently, the sun is in gate 50, which is the gate of values. Values is asking us to step into what is really important for us, and what's important for us in terms of the community, in terms of the tribe that we're part of. So there is this process where we can really go through, like stepping into what are our priorities, what is important in my life and for the community, to the point of, well, where am I kind of making it up and kind of fudging the line a little bit, and maybe even lying about certain things. So be aware of how that shows up for you right now. Earth in gate 33, gate 3. Earth is in gate 3, not 33. I apologize, which is the gate of beginning. So we're beginning new things. We have big potential shifts in life that can happen. Mars is in gate 32. I put in Mars is because right now the moon is in Mars. There's a lot of, moon is in Aries. There's a lot of kind of that energy, that bristling energy that's possible in this gate of duration, gate of change. So there can be some kind of friction creating change for us right now. Be aware of that. Jupiter went direct on Monday in gate 48, which is the gate of the well. It has everything to do with depth and learning new knowledge. So it's about expanding our knowledge again. So if you've started or feel like starting a new course, this is a really good time to do so. Saturn went direct on October 11 in gate 41, which is imagination. Imagination is about wanting to expand and really see new things. And Saturn is the taskmaster, right? So it wants to make sure that whatever you're imagining is something that can be made real. Like, what do you call them, sand castles or air castles? That's not what Saturn wants. Saturn wants to have a little bit more of a foundation, a little bit more of the structures in place to make the imagination come true. So this is a good time to set your intentions and see what your structures are around getting your intentions manifested. Pluto went direct on October 7th, gate 61st, inner truth. This is just such an amazing placement for it, because Pluto is really bringing deep transformation through a gate that is inner truth, is in the deep potential to see something completely new. Big inspirations can come in that transfer or transform everything. So be aware of that, be with that. And what is still in retrograde is, let's see, Uranus and Neptune. So Uranus is turning direct on October 25th. So that's coming up, that's next week, where it will shift from the gate of receptivity. This may also be why we have been feeling just a little bit not kind of on our game, right? Where we've second gate, receptivity, shows you where you're going in life. It has that inner knowing. And things going into retrograde is like things are not flowing well. Yeah, so there is a potential to go into refining. Shifting direct in gate 24 has everything to do with refining whatever insights we've been getting. And that will also create that channel that we've got full transformation from our inspiration into our thinking. So a whole new perspectives can happen for us. Inner truths that really can make big changes for us coming up. And Neptune in gate 26 in retrograde grace. Be aware of the disgraceful moments, tripping over things. Behind the scenes a little bit. Neptune is always behind the veil, so it's not as clear. So that is something that can be happening too. So be a little aware of potential accidents and such.
You said gate 26, Neptune is in great, and you have
22nd. Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
Gate 22nd. Yeah, in grace. Thank you.
I have nothing
Okay.
in 22.
Well, that's good. You're having it now. All right. So thank you, everybody, for being here. It was lovely being with you all and having a chance to communicate. I love that. I hope everything is going well for everybody, and good luck. And I will see you all hopefully in the next couple of months. We'll do another chart review. All right.
Thank you,
Take care.
Mara.
Thanks,
Take
everybody.
care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.